Before we depart for Alloway, we stop in with the crew. After some priority missions, you can chat and find out how they feel about events, and learn a few new things about their backgrounds.
How can I help, Commander?
You need some work done, Commander?
I'm all ears, Commander.
Aside from that, it's nothing really else to do, so we set
Roger
off.
that, Commander. Course plotted.
Along the way, Glitch decides to make a couple of renovations to improve the barracks. However, we have a rental bond, and this is definitely not covered by it. But you know what? I can't deny Glitch's puppy dog demeanor, so I make sure we can fix things, or at least pay the fine, and let her go to town. This ups my company's morale, which means we'll start with a little bit more on each mission. Related to that, it's budget time. We're holding steady with our money, but only for another 2 months without this incoming payday. Now each month you can alter the payments, either reducing it to save money and take a morale hit, or boosting it for more morale. In this version of the game, you can really cheese it by setting it to extravagant for the first few months, build up the morale to a much higher level, even up to 50, then if you return to normal, it holds steady at that. It's not a thing where you need to continue to spend more to maintain the morale. No, it's just a one-time thing every month. Now, not really a fan of this cheese, so we're going to leave it at normal until we have a bigger savings account. Once we arrive at Alloway, we get the offer to launch, but my Shadowhawk is still being rebuilt, so we fast forward a few days and...
I wrapped up that job you asked for, Commander.
Quick stop to the shop as well, nothing special on sale, and yeah, we're good to start this job. So if it's not immediately clear from this dialogue, what just happened was we met up with a jump ship who dropped us near our target moon using a pirate point. There's a lot of technical stuff with FTL jumping, but basically there are certain areas you can only jump to or from, depending on the gravity well of the star you're heading to. Now it is actually entirely possible to jump next to a gravity well. It is extremely dangerous though. What you can do to mitigate that risk is to have another gravity well that neutralizes it, say jumping between a planet and a moon, or a large planet and a star, something that basically just neutralizes it out. However, your calculations have to be super exact, and it is still really risky. And that's why Samir is pretty pissed off that they took the chance without telling anyone. Anyway, we're here now, we didn't die, so on to the mission. The pirates are led by someone called Grim Sybil, a proper bitch but one with battle mechs and a heavy anti-air complement. The plan is we get on the ground, find and destroy the radar towers that control the anti-air, then we cover Samir as she drops off an engineer team backed by Marines. As in the fun kind of Marines, the kind who are trained to work in a vacuum, and sometimes in freefall. Our Lance is the standard mix. The only difference is everyone got a slight skill boost from the last mission. Nothing too special yet, and Behemoth is also now driving our new missile boat. Normally such a thing would go to a tactics pilot like Decker for the indirect penalty nullifier, but he's a lot better off doing sensor shenanigans in his Spider.
Command interface initiated.
Have you ever had a moment where you look back upon your work and you just think, what the fuck, this is all wrong, why did I do this? This is me while I was recording this video. I'm having a look at this medium with a very big stick, and only 6 shots available. In hindsight, I probably should have just ditched the AC5 for, I don't know, an AC2, be a proper sniper, ditch it altogether for some MLAs, pack in some more LRM ammo. But you know what, those are the choices we make, and I'm gonna have to make do with it. Look, the AC-5 is still decent. I got 15 shots with that thing, and worst case, it's a stomping medium. I can just keep punching things. I just have to make sure the LRMs are held for anything nasty, especially a big one we want to knock down or something that has to die real fast. Anyway, welcome to Axylus. No idea if I'm saying that right. It's an airless moon claimed by a pirate queen. Now, moons are terrible for battle mechs. Heat sinks need atmo to work correctly, so you can expect to overheat constantly. It's actually worse here than it was in that desert biome. Now, right ahead of us is the perimeter radar, 2 towers protected by turrets, and that means turret generators. 3 guesses what our first target's going to be. Beyond those is a walled-off city built around the Argo. Once the radar is down, we need to get in there in order to support Farad's team.
Got an unknown on sensors.
So we pick up the first turrets, and Duncan jumps ahead to get a bead on the Jenny.
Taking the high road.
No one else singing this. Wake up, you idiots. We've got company.
But they're driving giant battle mechs. We can't fight against.
Any more objections? Good. Get out there and fight.
So that was Grim Sybil, Pirate Commander Commissar. We're going to get familiar with her a little bit later. I'm just more amused how we apparently have giant battle mechs as opposed to the normal kind, I guess. Now, my reserving was supposed to make the enemy waste their turn moving with no targets, but I wasn't counting them having something like a medium or a heavy tank like a Striker, which went on a much later initiative, and yeah, this happened.
No sweat. Special delivery!
Now, Duncan and Glitch combine their fire to take out one turret network, while Decker makes a move to get eyes on the other.
Lifting off.
And Behemoth uses a sniper mech to face tank. It's fine, she's still in a Shadowhawk, it's got plenty of armor, it can shield everyone else for later fights. Now sadly, I can't get to the generator straight away, so instead we alpha the remaining forward target, clearing the path and denying the enemy a spotted for the LRMs.
Turret destroyed.
At least we did until a Bulldog rolls up.
Acknowledged.
And sadly once more, Glitch rips into the PPC, so the tank lives for another turn.
No need to tell me twice.
That next turn, however, she helps Duncan shoot up the generator.
No problem. I've got enough guns for everyone.
And she helps Behemoth finish off the Bulldog.
I feel bad about shooting the little guys.
Now Decker makes a long jump to vis-ident the other tanks, compromising a pair of Scorpions and Strikers. But that's all they have left as soon as Decker takes out the generator.
Target confirmed.
After that he makes another long jump to scout the main
that.
base and braces, so that way he can act as a distraction. And in the process I misread the heat scale. So jumping actually builds heat depending on how far you move. I assume this heat spike was a game telling me that this is what it would hit if I jumped and then opened fire. So that wasn't my best move. The good news is the Scorpions are in knife fighting range and they don't last long. Now I know I bitch a lot about Glitch and her constant misses with her PPC. That is pure confirmation bias. I remember the times she misses when it was a critical shot, much more to when she makes a very quality shot like this one.
Delivery!
The last Striker continues to pound on Duncan, but he puts himself in melee range of Decker.
Commander.
On a tiny hill that Decker can't climb. Clever girl. Fortunately, Behemoth places an AC-5 shot right into the thin and barely maintained side armor.
Reporting. One less vehicle.
So now we just have to destroy the radar towers and... Really, this is the shot you miss?
Firing on target!
Oh, come on. Eventually, we drop the towers. Or taking a bit of time to move up and cool down. We saw what happened with Decker, and the last thing you want to do is get stuck into a brand new battle against brand new enemies, and you're already overheating.
Standing by.
Once we're into the main base, nothing really happens, so Samir gets the all clear.
Heading out.
With the engineers on site, we fan out for the inevitable ambush.
Alright, people, you know what to do. Marines, clear the ship of pirates.
With pleasure, Dr. Murad.
And there we go, couple of light mechs, couple of tanks, nothing too difficult, but I think it's about time to unleash some of those morale abilities.
Got it.
And finally, the MLRS Behemoth has been dragging around all mission. Yeah, not the best start. I mean, I probably still would have shot those missiles, but
Target
you know what? That's just because she made a much better shot than I expected. So hey, can't complain. Duncan and Glitch each take out a tank.
Uh-huh.
Smoked 'em!
Dr. Murad, the pirates have Alpha Squad pinned down in the Argo's main hallway. Bravo Squad is holding the door to engineering, but you better hurry up.
Sergeant? Talk to me.
Waiting for orders.
And that's happened, I guess. After a successful round of being a distraction, Decker's evasion is completely gone, so I pull him back to cover. Now you may notice the objective here is to take out the reinforcements, and it lists that there are 7. But we've only had 5 of these guys on our scope this entire time, the 3 mechs and the 2 tanks. We've also not seen anything from Sybil Faulty since her first outburst. I'm pretty sure they're related. Until that time, we pummel on the metal baby, which is surprisingly hard to hit.
There's more where that came from.
He does get legged though, and now both lights decide to close in the melee range.
Dr. Murad, what's happening in there? Come in, Doctor.
A little busy. The pirates are dead. But so are half of my engineers. It's an unholy mess in here. Bodies everywhere.
Can you get the ship flying again? I need an update.
Look, do you want me to talk or do you want me to fix the damn ship? You do your job, I'll do mine.
The Locust goes down hard. The Commando less hard, but that's just because there was a bit of partial cover to Behemoth, which blocks her AC-5 shot. With the area clear, we all brace and cool down.
Sounds smart. Cooling.
Taking a protective stance.
Now this seems bad. She's coming at us with a heavy mech, a 60-ton quick draw, backed up by a Shadowhawk.
Yes, Commander.
Now I want you to consider this, however. Her armor is barely holding together, we outnumber them 2 to 1, and we're still in decent shape. And while we know from experience the Shadowhawk is a damn fine mech, the quick draw is actually one of the worst ones you can get. It can fight, it carries a good loadout, it is still a heavy mech, but it's the lightest heavy mech, and that actually gives it quite a few disadvantages. It'll move a phase after us, it has less tonnage for weapons than some of the mediums, and that's mostly because of how engine sizes work. It needs a bigger engine to move almost as fast. So in short, we should be able to take her out without any difficulty. So we start off with a little bit of indirect fire.
Sensors locked on.
It doesn't do too much, but it plinks away a little bit of her armor. And the Shadowhawk returns the favor a lot more effectively, but in doing so, it exposes itself. Another precision shot, and now we get 2 full turns to bring it down.
Let's see how you like this.
Firing a full caliber.
The only real concern here is Glitch's now open PPC arm, so I make sure it remains obstructed. Which works out quite well as the quick draw moves in and unloads all of its lasers into a fully armored side. Decker takes advantage of Sybil Lynch's move to shoot her in the back, and as for the Shadowhawk,
Giving him everything I've got.
Time to die.
you know, sometimes RNGs just love you. Duncan's head hit and the recoil from that autocannon hit means a Shadowhawk pilot dies from a brain aneurysm, which means we now have a full Shadowhawk to salvage, once we hose out the cockpit. And also once we take care of a massively overheated quick draw. Oh hey, turns out the Sisters Grimm has Bulwark. That's not much of an issue when we have jump jets. Worth it.
Copy that.
Engaging jump jets.
Yep, still worth it. And with her on the ground, I reserve. No, trust me, it's perfectly fine, this is all part of the plan. Yes, I do let her get up, but with that fall she has reduced accuracy, which is why the AI doesn't take a shot. Plus, this allows me to shoot at her leg and knock her out again. Now she's got one wound left, so if I can get a lucky headshot or destroy that other torso, there'll be a pristine quick draw to salvage.
All weapons are go.
Yeah, that's probably not happening.
Affirmative.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening.
I'm out of LRM.
No big loss. As I said, the quick draw isn't that good, and I'd prefer to use my salvage benefits to get that Shadowhawk. Now we just have to get on board the Argo and hope it makes it off the ground without exploding.
Roger that.
Mission successful.
However, right before we do, we've got a bit of time to drag a few things on board, like a brand new medium mech and a bunch of weapons. Oh, they even threw in the quick draw part. Nice.